Is that a new coffee cup I see from you?
It is.
Let's see.
Shout out to my sister. Oh, can you see it? See the virtual background?
You hold it in front of yourself. There you go.
In front of myself?
Yeah, hold it like in front of you. It blocks the there it is. Meh.
Shout out to Naya T.
Dude, that coffee cup was made for you, brother. That's
Sure
amazing.
was.
Yeah. Hey, we have a special guest on this episode of Bleav in Seahawks, and it's a surprise. And so I thought we'd bring back our old game, Stop Me When You Know It, okay? I'm also trying to block him right now in my virtual background.
I noticed you're a little close to the camera.
So close to the camera because I have a picture of him up there. But, okay, so here. Our guest today hails from Racine, Wisconsin, okay? He's 6'7", drafted into the NBA, 10th overall in 2002.
Where do you go to school?
Bells yet? Player of the year at UConn.
6'7".
Huh?
I mean, that could be anybody.
Two-time All-Star, 14 NBA seasons.
Wait, stop it. You said UConn?
Yeah.
I see a Wizards. Is that what that is?
Yeah, that's it. Any guesses?
I'm guessing the great Caron Butler.
That's right, everybody. Tell him what he's won. Oh, I should lean the other way. Caron
Move
Butler.
the other way.
There he is. What's up, my
There
man?
it is.
How y'all doing?
Oh man, good to see you. Good to have you on the show. Caron's a old friend. He's been on the morning show that I do with producer Katie before. He's good friends with producer Katie and myself, and here to talk some NBA basketball. And we really appreciate it, man. Thanks for jumping on.
It's a pleasure and honor, man. Whenever she rings, I'm always gotta make time.
When producer Katie calls, it's either for baked goods or to be on one of her podcasts. So, but anyway, let's start the show here, shall we, guys?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Hit the theme song, please.
Let's get this crowd going now. Come on, get him up, get him up, get him up. Hawks on three. 1, 2, 3. Oh.
Lofa Tatupu is up in the mix.
Go Hawks.
I'm just about that action, boss.
Takes the snap. He's going to throw down the middle. What a catch!
It's intercepted by Lofa Tatupu.
Holy catfish!
Hey, that's great football now.
It's gonna work now. Let's keep playing.
Who's got my back?
I got your back.
That's Lofa.
A player. Trouble plant. Thunder. On one, ready, please.
Russell looking.
Go Hawks.
Russell scrambling.
Go Hawks.
Pump faking.
Go Hawks.
Still looking. Now he spins out.
We got to fly, baby.
35-40. Down the far sideline. He's still moving. He's going to go.
Yes. 20, 10. They do it again. Touchdown. 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 Seahawks.
The Seahawks podcast on the Bleav Sports Network. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Seahawks superfan Brett Davern, joined as always by Seahawks All-Pro Lofa Tatupu. What's up, buddy?
What's happening?
Thanks for joining the show, everybody. You guys can email us anytime, seahawkspod@gmail.com. If you got questions or comments or anything, it's all fair game on the email, seahawkspod@gmail.com. Also, follow us on all social media at Bleav in Seahawks. Bleav, of course, spelled our way, Lofa.
BLEAV.
That's right, at Bleav in Seahawks on any social media. And also, our sponsor, quickly before we really get rolling here, betonline.ag, your online wagering experts for all of your online wagering needs, whether it's, football's coming up, you got college football coming up, F1 racing you can lay some money on down over there, UFC, whatever you got. They also got a 24/7 online casino which never closes, full of table games and card games and everything. So betonline.ag, use our promo code. Back to the spelling, Lofa.
Still believe it or not. BLEAV.
Yeah, you get a 50% welcome bonus when you sign up at betonline.ag. Well, all right, let's get to our guest, Lofa, and let's get into all things Caron Butler because, we introduced him there in the beginning, but he's joining the show as our special guest. It's been a long time since I caught up with him, and it's been killing me because I haven't been able to say what's up yet because we weren't recording. So, Caron, what's up?
Man, fresh off vacation right now. I've been grinding. Obviously, this is my first year on the coaching side of things. So being on the sideline for the Miami Heat, being an assistant coach and just pouring whatever I feel like a wealth of insight is to our young players has been extremely therapeutic. So I've been loving that whole process.
Well, before we get to work, let's talk about vacation. Where were you?
I was in a couple places. I was in St. Thomas and I was in Exuma, Bahamas.
Oh, I just want to live vicariously for 1 second. Oh, man, that sounds nice. How was it traveling with everything? Have you been doing any traveling, like, as this pandemic winds down or whatever's going on out there?
So this has been our first international trip with family going to another place, and we just had a great time. We were skeptical about the travel. We had the luxury of doing things private this time. I can't wait to get back to flying commercially. But I try to take the safe route just because we have a daughter of ours who's immune compromised. So I got to be safe.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Okay, now let's talk about work a little bit, because I got two guys here that obviously, former pros, awesome careers, but then turned into coaches. Lofa coached with the Hawks, and now Caron, you're with the Heat. So, I mean, what's it like making the transition from player to coach for you guys?
I'll let you go, Caron.
You know what? I'll start off by just saying, I think it's easier just because I know as a former player what type of messaging I would want to hear. Mm-hmm. And I think you can dumb it down and speed it up accordingly just because of that reason alone. I think that you have a better pulse of, what the players would want and give a specific call to action on what you want them to do. But I think also just from an education standpoint where you're giving them more tools to have in the toolkit and go out there and perform on the basketball court at a high level. I just think that's the real, heartfelt moment for me, just because mentoring has always been my thing. And to see guys, take what you teach them in real time and apply it immediately from film session to the basketball court in game at game speed is just it's a gift in its own. So that's where I get the greatest pleasure.
Well, speaking of mentors, I mean, you just had the picture up there with you with Pat Riley and Lofa, you with Pete Carroll all those years and stuff. But Lofa, what about you going from player to coach?
I think the toughest part was, and they always say once a player, always a player, right, Caron?
Yeah.
So it's hard to separate from that. But I think the fact that I was probably 2 or 3 years removed from playing made it a little easier. I finished in 12, went to coaching at 15, so I had that little buffer of time away from the game where, when I went back, I didn't see myself quite as a player anymore, And but just like to Caron's point, when you can impart some wisdom on these younger guys and speed up their process of, becoming a better player and watching it in real time, when that light bulb goes off and they finally see it through your lens and your perspective, it's a beautiful thing, man. It's yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Were there any moments, though, that happened in practice where you found yourself thinking, oh, I really am a coach now and not a player? Was there ever a moment where you found yourself going full coach?
Hey, listen, when I first took the job in November, and then all of a sudden I was rushed through the process to go through COVID protocols.
Oh, right.
I was like, oh shit, I'm actually here. I'm doing this. There's Jimmy. There's Bam. I'm actually out here on the court with these guys, and now they're turning to me for some sort of wisdom or guidance through these drills and through these defensive drills and all these things. So it's just it just happened in real time. So it was, I had to really reset myself. You know what I mean? I came in there with a mentality all right, I've done training camps a million times before, but the preparation was the biggest adjustment for me. Just making sure that our guys was over prepared, and for that fact alone, I had to be over prepared in order to teach.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What about you, Lofa? You ever get on some of the guys in a more of a coach way?
I mean, the younger guys, yes. Yeah, because the older guys, I had it pretty easy. I had Bobby Wagner and KJ Wright, two of the greatest in the game. Yep. And so Ken Norton had already done a phenomenal job of teaching them how to be pros. And so I was just there, as a soundboard, hey, what do you think about this? And I'd give them my feedback. But their games were so tailor-made and perfected by then. It was just don't mess it up. Mm-hmm. And but I will say to that point with KJ, though, I mean, he kept asking for more and more. And I was surprised because he was in year probably 6 or 7, pretty well established. They already won a Super Bowl. He had been an alternate for the Pro Bowl a couple of years, but he kept wanting more information. So I kept, just feeding him bit by bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw him get more aggressive in his play style. And I think that's what ultimately led to him making his first Pro Bowl in 2016. It was I felt like he should have been to a couple more, but those are the guys that I leaned on. I was like, hey, like they carry the message. This is your team, and a team, as Caron knows, he's been on a championship team. When the team takes it over, that's when it becomes special, and when the players carry the message and they run it themselves, really.
Yeah. Well, Caron, Lofa, I know you might go back to coaching. You're kind of like waiting for your kids to grow up a little bit more. Caron, are you keeping going with this? Like, where are we going to go? Are you head coach in the NBA soon? What's next for you in the world of coaching?
That's definitely the plan. I felt like it was 2 organizations that get it right when you talk about coaching in the National Basketball Association and the people that have their disciples spread it out all over the association. And I think the San Antonio Spurs are one. And then I think that the other team is the Miami Heat. They just get it right. And they're going to give you a crash course of the basics. When you talk about defensive philosophies, offensive philosophies, when you talk about mentoring at its finest, your preparation and being prepared. So I was like, all right, cool. Like if one of those opportunities ever happen or ever approach itself, like I have to take a serious look at it. And when Miami called, I had to take a serious look at it, and it made sense for me at the time. And, ultimately I do want to be a head coach in this game. So, I'm learning. I'm being a student as well as I'm mentoring a lot of young athletes, and hopefully that time comes soon.
Cool, man. You guys also, I want to mention Caron's book here. I have to hold it in front of me to get rid of my virtual background there. But Tough Juice, you guys can grab it wherever you grab books. It's a great read, really powerful story and everything. Tough Juice, My Journey from the Streets to the NBA, Caron Butler's story. I mean, dude, when is the movie coming out about Caron Butler? Because this story, someone's got to make this thing into a movie.
Yeah, well, I've done a partnership with Mark Wahlberg. We actually was in the process of pre-production before COVID had hit. We're actually going to scout Racine with our director, which I can't say who it is. Going out there August 15th. We'll be out there for 3 days with Mark Wahlberg as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it's we got a lot of traction and momentum right now.
Okay, coming soon, everybody.
Awesome.
Yeah. A quick word about Racine, actually, just since you mentioned it. I know you do a lot of work in the community there. What's been going on lately?
Oh, man. We just did a community garden out there. We're doing a rebuild of a church out there as well. We just put down a new outdoor playground and place where kids can, stay active and participate in those activities from a fitness standpoint and while practicing social distancing. We just opened 2 restaurants. We got a Starbucks and an O&H bakery. We just opened this summer. So, yeah, we've been extremely busy out there in the community, and a lot of things was on hold for quite some time due to the pandemic. But to be able to provide opportunities and, work for our community is just, it's a gift in its own.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the pandemic and stuff, unfortunately, let's move on to some headlines from the world of sports and get you guys' opinions and reactions here. The only real NFL news that I could find or, whatever, because, everything's kind of slow right now before training camps officially get underway. But this headline, COVID-19 outbreaks could lead to forfeits in the NFL. What they're talking about is, and this comes from Tom Pelissero of NFL Network. What they're talking about is the NFL has said that if there's an outbreak on a team and the source is from an unvaccinated source, and there's an outbreak on a team which forces the team to miss a game, if they can't reschedule it, that team would then have to forfeit that game that they missed. And obviously, it could have some massive implications in terms of like playoff seeding or especially as you get later into the season. So just kind of wanted to get your guys' reaction to that story.
I just don't understand if it's an unvaccinated player or a vaccinated player. Either way, an outbreak happened. So we're just going to penalize the unvaccinated people? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess they're making it like up to teams in order to police themselves in terms of like, because the Seahawks, let's face it, last year, I think that we were one of the only teams that had like nothing really happen, or, we didn't have to reschedule games or anything like that. The Seahawks did a really good job with it. And I think the league is just saying, hey, you kind of need to have your stuff in order. I mean, Caron, you were in the bubble, right, with the NBA and all the protocols going on over there. Like, what were your thoughts on kind of doing a season in that way?
You know what? I didn't like it in the midst of, the pandemic and all the social issues that we was facing as a society. I just felt like it was extremely tough for guys to really wrap their mind around, one, before vaccines was even available, one, how to go out there and still play in the midst of all of that. Now, fast forward to now where we're at, 85% of the league is vaccinated. So that's a good thing for us. But, that's a small percentage still out there. So that means per team is probably 2 or 3 guys that's not vaccinated. And to say that you're going to forfeit games because of, an unvaccinated individual may get COVID and the possibility of spreading it with contact tracing and things like that, I think that'll be a tremendous blow, from all things. When you talk about revenue shares and splitting, I think guys are really going to have to look at it from a union perspective and standpoint to say, what are we going to do? Mm-hmm. And our players' union is extremely strong. They identify problems, and this is something that I think that, they're definitely going to have to address on our side of things. Now, from a football standpoint, I will tell you this right now. This is my last year probably being a Packers fan with all the Aaron Rodgers stuff going on. So I'm a free agent. I'm looking for I'm looking for a new squad. So it might be the Seahawks or
come on, man. Come on.
Something. Like, I'm out here. I'm just a free agent. I'm just putting that out there.
Okay. All right. I like that. See, Lofa, he's not the only one who's over as the Aaron Rodgers turns up there.
Hey, he reported to camp today. I don't know if you saw
I saw that. Yeah. It's
all right.
It's traditional way.
Well, Lofa, I mean, what should the NFL do, though, if a game or, if one team has an outbreak which forces the game to not be played and they can't reschedule it? How should they rule that game?
I mean, I don't understand how you can't reschedule it. I mean, they did it all last year. There was a couple games. They got rescheduled to a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Right. Not ideal. They still got their full schedule, played last year. So I don't know. It's almost like we're going backwards.
Yeah, my thought is that this headline could be one of those things where, like, to your point, they did have, or not no problem, but they did get all the games in last year. So it kind of seems like this isn't going to be an issue anyway, because they'll be able to reschedule whatever game is missed. So maybe this is just sort of like a headline to get us talk radio people all fired up or something.
I will say this, like, when you think of NFL and the NBA, it was probably the 2 major sports leagues that was actually out there as testers doing like trial runs. So they was like learning from trial and error. So now with other live sports and things coming back, venues are going to be filled. So say if a game don't happen, you may have a concert. So other entertainment is open now. So I think it's a little more tricky and harder to reschedule. So now maybe they should just call it a wash or something,
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, how, if it can't be rescheduled, just hypothetically, like, should it just go down as a tie or something, or just a no game, and you'd have to just figure it out with the records? I don't know, because it's all about playoff seeding and, like win-loss records at the end, especially in football, since there's not as many games. So, each game is super important. So I don't know. We'll have to see how that unfolds as it develops. Let's get out of the world of football, though, because there's a lot going on in the world of basketball, and we got Caron Butler here with us. So we didn't really get to talk about it yet, Lofa, but the Bucks win the NBA Finals. They defeat the Suns in 6. Caron, you're from Wisconsin. Like, go ahead, brag, gloat. Have fun, jump up and down, whatever you want to do. The Bucks won the championship, man.
You know what? They did, and I'm happy for the organization. I'm happy for my home state, and I'm also happy for, my young guys. Giannis was my rookie, and to see his development and his progression as he matured over the years, through trial and error, through defeat, and he still kept that hunger inside his belly to, overcome all obstacles. And one of the obstacles was, us. Our organization was in this way. We beat them last year. We went to the finals, and this season, they swept us in the first round. And I was just like, wow, these are the champs immediately, because we threw everything at them. And when I tell you everything from blitzes to all different types of coverages, the zone play, I even started the 10 count in the playoffs where I was the first person to recognize that and got them the violation. And then throughout the playoff series, you see
what? You blew the whistle on him? You ratted him out? What's going on here? I thought once a player, always a player. What's going on?
By any means, when it comes to the playoffs, everybody's fair game.
It's a championship. We're going for a championship.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Move this is. Wow.
And I was happy for them. You know, they deserved it. They was the best team this year, and you tip your hat off to them.
Yeah, I have to say real quick, because growing up a Sonics fan, we would run up against the Jazz in the playoffs all the time. And all of Key Arena would start the 10 count for the mailman every time he was on the line. But it never got called ever. So the fact that you actually got it to get called, I mean, hats off.
Yeah, man. Tony Brothers, man. Great job.
Lofa, what about you for the Bucks in the championship? Because, I mean, were you on the bandwagon? Were you off the bandwagon? It was hard to tell with how many different jerseys we were getting here.
Well, the Celtics are my team. You know that. Sorry, Caron. But I grew up in Massachusetts, so I rooted for you while you were at UConn, man.
Yep, respect.
It was a great series.
Yeah.
The Suns got out to a great start, but I was really impressed with Giannis. And Middleton, of course, but Giannis, for what looked like a devastating knee injury, for him to come back, not miss a game, and lead them, and especially the way he did it game 6 to put up 50, it was just the icing on the cake or the exclamation point. It was incredible that he was even able to play, never mind play that well.
Well, how surprised were you guys, though, just by the outcome in general after the Suns go up 2-0? I mean, maybe surprise isn't the right word, Caron, because, these guys and their talent and everything, but just, what a series that was. Yeah. What happened to the Suns?
I think a lot of people was expecting the Bucks to respond because they played so well at home. And as we all know, like in competition, especially in playoff series, a series don't really start until you lose a game at home, the old saying. So it's like the Bucks are so great there. And let's face it, they went down 0-2 versus a hell of a Brooklyn Nets team, with Kevin Durant, one of the best players in the world, if not the best. So I just always felt confident that we was going to get at least 7 games out that series, and possibly could have. But Giannis was just so dominant, they couldn't do anything with him in the paint. And I just think that it's a testament to his growth. He's had growing pains. He's been through some things. And the Suns are still young. They caught everybody by surprise this year with the leadership of CP3, Monty Williams, and Willie Green and those guys and that coaching staff. But, I felt like down the stretch, they just swallowed Chris Paul up, in the pick and roll coverage just because of their length. They did an excellent job of blitzing and keeping activity. And when you try to hide the smaller guards on the defensive end of the floor, PJ Tucker and Covington, those guys was really beating them up on the glass, and they dominated in the paint.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to Milwaukee on the finals win and all of that good stuff. Before we move on to Olympic basketball, just staying in the NBA for 1 second, selfishly, Caron, the city of Seattle needs a basketball team back, right, in the NBA. Bring back our Sonics. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. Jamal Crawford, Gary Payton, those guys would love it. Every time I bump into them, anytime, it is like Seattle needs a team back. And we saw the fan base, what it was like, watching Seattle Storm and with the WNBA. And also I had the privilege and honor of playing against Seattle teams with Ray Allen and Rashard Lewis and those guys. And the environment of basketball and their fan base was just amazing. It really was. So I hope that they get a team back sometime soon.
All right, good. I'm glad. Just want to get them on the record. All right, moving on to Team USA over in the Olympics on the men's side of Team USA for the basketball. They lost to France over the weekend, and it broke a 25-game winning streak for Team USA in the Olympics. And they got 2 more games in pool play. They have to win both of those, and I think they need to win them convincingly because there's like point margins and all kinds of stuff in order to move on to the medal round. But were you guys surprised to see that? And, I mean, they've tripped up in the Olympics before, going back a few years ago, and nobody wants that to happen again. What's going on with Team USA?
You know what? I had the honor of going out to Vegas and, seeing the guys practice. Our head coach, Eric Spoelstra, was coaching the Olympic team as well. And he was coaching the junior team, some of the college guys as well, and Tyler Hero and some individuals were playing on that team. And they beat them the first time during a scrimmage. And I was shocked by the amount of talent that the senior team had. And then fast forward to watching Nigeria, where we have 3 guys on that team, KZ Okpala, Precious Achua, and Gabe Vincent. They did an excellent job of just preparing, their preparation, like continuity and all those things. So to answer your question, I think like from a skill standpoint, the rest of the world is caught up, from a skill standpoint. Now, do we have more star power and more greater individuals? I still feel like we're, so far ahead. But I think that other guys are just having this other countries are having this fire in their belly to go out there with the skill set and really leave it all out there versus us. And until, Kevin Durant and those guys really, dial in from that perspective, we're going to, probably take some more L's because those guys are playing with a lot of fire right now. And let's face it, probably the 2 best players in all of basketball are from the our international players. Giannis Greek freak. I can't even say his last name. Antetokounmpo.
I'm not even sure.
And Luka Doncic.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. That's what I was going to say. Lofa, is this more about the rest of the world being, just in basketball being so global now? Caron, I'm sure you've traveled internationally helping to promote the game and things. They're doing, a lot of promotion, especially in Asia and all over the world. So is this more about the rest of the world catching up less than it is about Team USA stumbling? Or,
I agree with
the medal round. Come on, man.
No, I agree with Caron and that, everybody's going back to their country and playing with a sense of pride, and it's not that we're not, but when you think about it, Durant's probably used to shooting the ball about 40 times. And is he getting that many touches? I don't think so, because you got to spread the ball. So a number of factors, but yeah, I Bleav, the talent pool is getting, catching up to what we have over here. And, that's what we're seeing.
Are there guys who aren't there who should be there? And if they go out before the medal round, isn't that what a lot of people will be asking? Where's it rhymes with LeBron?
Well, since 2000, LeBron's been an active participant. So 2004, 2008, he's played, he has 3 gold medals now or 2. This is the time for, Kevin Durant, Dame Lillard. One of the guys that you probably will want on the roster that's not there is Anthony Davis. But I think for the most part, everyone else, like the big names, the heavy hitters, look at Booker and Middleton, Holiday. They just came fresh out of finals. I think they even missed the parade and the celebration and hurry up and get out there. So you have enough talent. I just think it's now just about continuity and coming together and just really less is more. You're not going to get the volume shots or touches, but some guys are going to have to do less, but do more on the defensive end of the floor, rebound and have that urgency. And if you don't buy into that, we will have a silver or bronze medal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Lofa, what do you think as a fan?
Oh, I just have a question. So coming from college, Caron, to the NBA, because, it's you leave high school the man, okay, now you get to campus and everybody's the man in high school, right? And so on and so forth. So, especially the younger guys, when they come to the Heat now and, they've got established vets and everything, how do you help them to find their role on the team?
Well, I think that, it's player driven. And I think that, like you said, everyone feel like they're the man. Everybody got a scrapbook, right? But when you get there, I think that your active participation in whatever we're doing, and all of a sudden now all of that gets sorted out. So we understand that, some of your strengths, but we also identify your weaknesses, and we have a good base here already. So we have our franchise guys, we have that base. So now we're looking for quality pieces to amplify what we do to get us over the hump. And even with the way this team, the USA team was, meshed together, You see some of the strengths. You know who your scorers are. You know certain guys have to be defensive guys. If you look at a guy like Jason Tatum, you know, with the stoppage of the ball and not swinging it and things like that, not a knock to his game, just in this international setting, you can't play like that. Ball stoppage isn't a good thing. Pitcher heads is very important. Rebounding is important. Screening, pace, all those things is important, and you can't play the same way that you played, you know, in the NBA.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to ask you, Caron. Like, what's your experience with these international tournaments? Have you played on Team USA or had experience with USA basketball?
Yeah, I played the Junior Olympics. We won gold. And it was different because when I came fresh out of Connecticut, it was like I was the man. I was the guy. You throw the ball at me, I just pound it inside, do my thing. But now it's like, okay, I can't do that. The pace of the game is different. I have to find a way to be effective in a different way. I have a big body. I'm mobile. I got to rebound. I got to do other things. I got to get on the floor. I got to be intimidating on the defensive end of the floor, use my length and my sides to, you know, plug holes and gaps. And I think that guys are really looking at film right now and trying to make the proper adjustments. But, you know, we're all a creature of habits. You know, we're not policed by the coaching staff or even ourselves. You know, we go back to what we feel comfortable and what we do best. So it's going to be an interesting thing to see over the next couple of days what happens.
Well, on a schedule, or not on a schedule, on a scale of 0 to panic, where should we be in terms of being, you know, fans of our Team USA here? Should we be freaking out? Are you freaking out? They're going to win it all, right? Come on, tell me they're going to win it all.
I hope. I mean, that's what we hope. Fingers crossed. But I'm at like a 3 or 4 right now, just because when you think about –
I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm at like a 3 or 4 because, you know, when you think about the dream team and those guys and what they assembled, and then you think about the rest of the world, like just from a skill set standpoint, they was not even close.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
Now from a skill set standpoint, they're right there up to par. And then you got guys like Luka out there dominating and doing his thing. It's like anything can happen.
Yeah, totally. Well, I'm freaking out. Let's move on to our Zone In segment. We do the Zone In segment because Lofa's company is Zone In CBD. For all of your CBD needs, go to zoneincbd.com. Use our promo code
Bleav, BLEAV.
For 20% off of your purchase. Pretty much for anything you need, just use Bleav. It might work. But if you're on zoneincbd.com, use it for 20% off of your whole first purchase. If you want to pick up Zone In CBD in person, you can do that at all Bartell drugstores up there in the PNW. Guys, I want to zone in on the world's strongest man, Brian Shaw. He's the 4-time world's strongest man. He's 6'8", somewhere around 400 pounds. I couldn't even find the exact weight in any article. It changes all the time, but it's around 400 pounds. He deadlifted 4,000 pounds. He deadlifted a Camaro with 3 people in it. And just to show off, he did it 10 times. So my man not only deadlifted it, but then did reps.
I'm going to need to see video.
There's the picture right there. I mean, the guy is yoked. Like, I don't even know really what to ask. 1, how impressed are you? And 2, how much have you ever deadlifted? Was it a Camaro?
Nothing close to a Camaro. Probably a car tire, but not a whole car. Jeez.
Yeah.
And he got people in it. Look at that.
Yeah. Yep. Taking people for a ride. Lofa?
What's that?
I don't know. How impressed are you? And what's your deadlift max, you think?
Nah, I mean, the guy's 400 pounds. Guy, you know, I mean.
Oh, but that's impressive, man. That's
Hold up the coffee cup. Hold up the coffee cup. Just put it right in front of your face. Meh.
No, that is impressive. I mean, I didn't expect him to be shredded at 400 pounds. I thought he was going to be, you know, a strong man, which is usually stocky and wide.
Yeah.
I mean, you did say he's 6'8", so that's a big dude. But 4,000 pounds. Are we sure about this?
That's what it said in the article that I read. I don't know.
Is that over the 10 reps?
It looked like a convertible Camaro. So the convertible goes about 500 pounds lighter than the non-convertible. So you know what I mean? Like,
No, that's impressive. He's definitely on zone and CBD.
I mean, it's a rag top. You know what I mean? If it was a hard top convertible, now I'd be impressed. But the rag top cuts down on the overall weight, so
That's next level.
No big deal. No, Lofa, come on, max deadlift ever, all time. What do you think?
We didn't really deadlift in college. We did a lot of cleans, but
You guys weren't trying to throw something up on the board at USC. Come on, don't lie to me.
No, deadlift wasn't a big. It wasn't a big lift for us. Power clean, hang clean. But I mean, if I had to guess, I could probably do 600, maybe a little more.
Okay. All right. Yeah. He's Ryan Shaw, by the way, has deadlifted over 1,000 pounds multiple times in competition. So like the actual barbell, not just a Camaro. He did this one on somebody's challenge video because they said they'd let him keep the Camaro and donate money or I don't know, something. But pretty cool story. And I don't know.
Guess he drinks milk, huh?
No, he's zoned in, Caron. Zoned in. ZonedInCBD.com. Anybody else got anything else to add before I wrap this thing up today?
That was next level. I don't even want to throw a number out there after seeing that 4,000.
Oh, yeah. We didn't get your official max, Caron.
I don't even have one.
Okay.
I don't have one. Use your imagination. I can't even mess with that one.
I got you. All right. Well, then let's wrap this thing up, everybody. Thanks for listening on the Bleav Sports Network or over here on Brinks.tv, everybody. If you have emails, you can send those to Seahawkspod@gmail.com, Seahawkspod@gmail.com. Also follow us on any social media at Bleav in Seahawks. You guys can follow Caron Butler on all social media. He's got the blue check mark. Just search Caron Butler. You'll find him. Lofa's over there too. Caron's book, Tough Juice. Find it wherever you find books. Check it out. Movie coming soon. Mark Wahlberg's involved. My God. Megastar, future head coach in the NBA, Caron Butler. Thanks for joining us, man.
Appreciate y'all, brothers.
Love you, pal.
Thanks, Caron. Great to meet you, brother.
On every episode, Caron, we always break it down to something just like after football practice or at basketball practice. I'm sure you guys do it too. What do we want to break it down to on this episode, Lofa? We got once a player, always a player.
I mean, the book, Tough Juice.
Tough Juice. I think Tough Juice, right? Caron, put your hand in. Will you lead us through it?
I'm in it.
Somebody break it down. Lofa, do it.
Right, get it.
All right, fine. I'll do it. Jeez, you always make me do it. Whatever. I'm the captain, I guess. That makes me the captain. I'm the captain now. Hands in the middle. Tough Juice on 3. Tough Juice on me. 1, 2, 3.
Tough Juice.
Tough Juice.
Go!